If I remember correctly, it was probably during my second year at university that there was a time when I was riding on a bus and gazed at the people outside. As I looked, I began to feel quite peculiar because I started to think, we humans are just one kind of animal, that's all. It's merely a convention of the world that we call ourselves human. Yet, in truth, we're no different from pigs, cows, or buffaloes. When they die, they decompose, and so do we. The mind takes up residence in our body, but the body is no different from that of an animal or robot. Our mind gives orders, and the body acts accordingly. But at the time of death, all that remains is a body that is no way different from that of an animal. At that time, there are many occasions that I viewed humans in strange ways, quite different from before. When I saw people at bus stops, either standing, walking, talking, or going about other activities such as combing their hair, smiling, laughing, or frowning, I would think that humans and animals are in no way different, except for humans possessing greater intelligence and a superior mind. That's all. Each person's bodily gestures and movements were being dictated merely by the power of their minds. These thoughts made me feel a bit weary with the human condition. During my third year at university, whenever I was feeling ill, say with a stomachache, diarrhea, or even the urge to urinate, I would always ask myself, hey, what's going on? Here I am feeling unwell, and yet I can't tell my body to be free from these pains and discomfort. I thought, this body is mine. Why then is it outside of my control? This certainly shows the body does not belong to me. At about that time, I began to regularly contemplate things in this way, reflecting that if the body was truly mine, then I should be able to command it to be free from illness. Or when the urge to urinate or to defecate occurs while traveling, I should be able to tell the body, please wait, don't allow the urge to come on before I get home. Why is it that the body is completely outside of my control? These reflections caused me to begin seeing the true nature of the body, seeing that it's not mine, as it is totally outside of my control. One day at university, I was sitting talking with some friends when I noticed a university bus pull in to let its passengers off. As some girls got off the bus and walked past where I was sitting, one girl caught my attention because I thought she was attractive. I thought to myself, if she remains beautiful for more than 3 months, I would try to get to know her. But upon seeing her again on another day, she didn't look the same as before. On this day, she no longer looked beautiful because she had changed her hairstyle, and so I never did get to know her. On another occasion, I saw a different girl whom I felt attracted to because she was also good looking. And again, I thought, if she is still beautiful after 3 months, I will try to get to know her. But on a later day, upon seeing her again, she no longer looked attractive because she dressed differently. As it turned out, there wasn't one girl in the entire university who could remain attractive for more than 3 months. And so I never did get to know any of them. I thought to myself that I would associate with females only platonically and wait until I've finished my studies and have a job before considering starting a relationship. Every girl that I thought was beautiful would, on seeing them only a few times, quickly appear not to be so. As a result, I no longer felt interested in females. It wasn't until I ordained as a monk that I understood that my feelings and way of viewing things while being a student was based on insight, or in Pali, vipassana. That is, seeing the mutable nature of human beings or physical phenomena. Not long after this, I saw a friend of mine arguing with his girlfriend. Whilst arguing, the girl's face didn't look at all attractive. I asked myself, where exactly should I find attraction in a woman? An answer sprung up telling me, be attracted to their heart's innate qualities. Sometimes when I look at buildings, temples, upasatha halls, or went to beautiful places, my mind would always contemplate the decline and deterioration of these things or places. I would see things degenerate until they crumbled apart, then reflect and bring them back to their original condition. I would see the disintegration and ultimate dissolution of everything, seeing that their nature is to come into existence, remain for a time, and finally break apart. During my 4th year at university, there were some days I felt that my head was completely filled with thoughts, my mind thinking continuously, without any break or respite, until 10 or 11 at night. Once, when my mind was thinking endlessly, the thought arose, hey, why can't I stop my mind from thinking? This shows that the mind is not mine. I am not its owner. Fortunately, I could remember having read some parts of the biography of Venerable Ajahn Mun, where he taught the mountain folk to search for Buddha by sitting in meditation for 5 or 10 minutes a day. At that time, a feeling arose that I wanted to do the same. So, late that night, I went up and sat in the shrine room in my house. And in no time at all, the thoughts stopped, and I began to feel peaceful and at ease. I focused my awareness on the breath together with the recitation of the meditation word Buddha, on the inhalation mentally reciting Bud, and on the exhalation Do. My mind stopped thinking and held to its awareness of the breath, feeling content and relaxed. After that, whenever I was continuously thinking, I would go to the shrine room and sit in meditation. Once, while in meditation, one of my legs felt sore, and I reflected that this body doesn't belong to me. It's merely made up of the four elements of the 4 elements of earth, water, fire, and air. I reflected only for a brief moment, but my mind acknowledged the truth of the reflection and then unified in concentration, plummeting downwards 3 times. All perception of the breath, body, and meditation word Buddha completely disappeared. and I was left feeling perfectly contented. I thought to myself that if I could, I would gladly remain in this state of bliss and not return to the normal human state again. I felt so sublimely happy, happiness of a kind that I cannot explain. I even thought that all the happiness that can possibly be derived from the world can't compare to the happiness experienced when the mind is in this state. The instant that I had this thought, awareness arose asking, where has the body disappeared to? Where has the breath gone? Where has Buddha disappeared to? Having noticed that all perception of my breath and body had completely disappeared, I tried to move my body, and eventually my awareness of the breath gradually returned, the breath becoming coarser until returning to normal. The whole experience left me feeling most surprised. During the final term of my 4th year in university, there was a day when I was standing on the bus traveling to school. As I rode, a vision of the Chinarat Buddha statue appeared just in front of my forehead. The statue was golden with a silver aura framing it. I saw this same vision over several days, each time lasting for about 5 minutes. While standing there and having a vision like this arise before me made me wonder if I was going crazy. But I was able to keep my senses and I was able to mindfully watch what was going on. Not long after this, whenever I traveled between home and university, I would view the other people on the bus in accordance with the characteristics of birth, aging, and sickness. My mind would reflect this way by itself and then turn the reflections inward into myself. When looking at a young baby, I would think, to be born is really suffering. How much suffering and happiness must this child experience before it grows to the age that I am? I would then turn the reflection onto myself, thinking, I too was once a baby like this young child. To reach the age I am now, I've had to experience alternating happiness and unhappiness. Life is so tedious. When this thought had finished, I looked at another person and could tell by his face and eyes that he was sick, experiencing a lot of pain and suffering due to some kind of health problem. After contemplating the condition of this person, I further reflected that I too experienced sickness and could clearly see that sickness is likewise a source of suffering for myself. Once this thought had finished, I looked about on the bus and my eyes caught sight of an elderly person, about the age of 60 to 70 years old. I reflected that everyone must grow old like this person. We must all surely meet with old age in the future, whereby our hair grays, the skin withers, and the teeth deteriorate. Looking at it, it is not nice at all. Yet I too will be like that in the future. Aging was seen to be suffering. My mind then contemplated that at some time not too far off, everyone on this bus must die, with not one of us remaining. I saw that death was also a cause of suffering. After reflecting in this way, I thought this body that I depend on isn't mine, because in times of sickness, or as the body ages, or when it's about to die, I have no power to control or forbid the changes from taking place. This thought left me with a great feeling of disenchantment and weariness with the human condition. Awareness arose within me that birth is the cause of suffering. I thought to myself, I don't want to take birth again. I will look for a way to avoid future rebirth. Back then, my mind would reflect like this almost every day. Every time I traveled by bus to university, I would always see babies, sick people, and elderly people, and my mind would naturally reflect like this for 10 or 20 minutes, each time giving rise to a feeling of being soberly saddened and disenchanted, not wanting to take birth again. After that, I would always think that whenever I'm ready, I will ordain and not disrobe. I thought that this would happen in no more than 5 years' time. After having spent 2 years studying a master's degree and a period of 3 years working to offer some financial assistance to my father. However, until that time, I will attempt to be good, virtuous person and try to frequently reflect on greed, aversion, and delusion, so as to gradually abandon these states of mind. Eventually, when the time comes, I should be then ready to ordain without ever disrobing. By this time, keeping the 5 precepts became normal for me, and my mind was no longer the same as before. If I was going anywhere and I saw a Buddha statue in a temple or a footprint of the Buddha, I would bow to it. And with my palms together in Anjali, I would make the following aspiration. If the true Dharma of the Buddha is still surviving, being the most excellent and purest of all teachings that would lead one beyond suffering, then may I meet this path and proceed in the most correct and direct manner. I will make an aspiration like this every time. Nobody had ever told me to do so. My heart did it of its own will. During my remaining time at university, I would try to think only of good, wholesome thoughts that were beneficial and endeavor to not let my mind think about whatever wasn't good or beneficial. Whenever unwholesome thoughts arose, I would make the effort to bring my awareness to my breathing, in coordination with the meditation word Buddho. So when you do this, when you breathe in, you mentally note Bud. When you breathe out, you mentally note Do. By doing this, the unwholesome thoughts would disappear. At the time, when I deeply perceived that birth, aging, sickness, and death were bound up with suffering, my heart had no wish to take a rebirth of any kind whatsoever. It made me think of how the Lord Buddha had clearly seen these 4 conditions before I ever had. He saw the inherent suffering in these 4 conditions, causing him to renounce his royal status and wealth to become a samana or a wanderer, until finally attaining full enlightenment to become the Buddha. I understood why he renounced the lay life to become a seeker. I thought that I probably have a sufficient store of merit that enables my heart to perceive birth, aging, sickness, and death, and suffering as well. Everybody should be able to see things in line with the truth as the Buddha did. But very few people do. They merely know that all beings, once born, must die, but they don't see this deeply within their hearts.